All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's workshop session this morning. Today is Friday, December 10th, 2021. I hope everyone's got some of their Christmas holiday shopping completed. Well on your way. All right, let's take a few minutes to go through our agenda this morning and talk about the upcoming applications we'll hear at our public hearing beginning at 9 o'clock. So looks like we have 3 this morning. So the first one will be Pamela Farms, and that's to review a monument sign.
Yes.
Okay.
Our technical difficulties continue.
Uh-oh.
So I can't get the packet to pull up. So if you remember from last month, that sign was a little white monument sign, double-sided routed. It's going on Roswell Street, Old Roswell Street, right at the corner of Roswell and Old Roswell. They're taking the little White House for the winery. And so they're just doing a little monument out there. They're planning for it somewhat temporary, but somewhat permanent as well. That house is going to likely move with a new project in the future. And so we don't really know where that might be placed. So they didn't want to do the brick base and the whole thing like that. So
A couple things, and again, I'm going from memory. I believe it was very tall.
I think it was. I think
it was 8 or 9 feet tall.
overly tall.
Okay.
I don't know why I can't get the packet to do anything.
I guess I should go back to the. Yes. All right. That's.
There you go. So, yeah, it looks like it's 8 feet.
All right, so it's limited to, well, let's see. You know what? I see it being 6 feet tall on the picture, the photograph, but in the drawing, it shows it to be 8 feet.
Oh, that is below grade. That's the whole post.
Yes. So the left side is 6 feet.
6 feet, yes. Okay, there we go. And then it.
are you guys able to see?
Oh,
It's on the screen
Oh,
now.
yeah, you pulled it up. Very good, Brett. Thank you.
So double-sided, white and black. It is routed, you see down here, HDU routed, so overall it'll be about 2.5 inches thick. So I think that would meet our new guideline, which is going to council, Alex, in January, remember? I think it's January that's going to council to get codified, that document that we all worked on. So that
Okay.
would be not,
So do they have to do 2 readings for that?
yeah, so
Okay.
it'll be just a suggestion that then comes to this board and usually gets voted on that way. It'll actually be code. So we'll have to deal with maybe at that point whether if it meets that, maybe we don't have to see those signs. So we'll figure that out. But anyway, this one I think would meet it.
Okay, and it does, I think the other comment was it having some ground cover around the base of the sign.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit of ground cover
So
around.
go up to the one above, has a picture of it, what, there, a small. Now you need to slide it, when you do that, you need to slide it over. Now slide your, yeah. There you go.
It doesn't just need ground, it needs some shrubs.
All right, shrubs.
It's too tall, yeah. It's too,
It looks like a spider.
What was the reason there could be no wall, there could be no piers, there could be, what was the reason?
Well, so
it's not permanent.
I wasn't worried about doing a brick base monument because there's a site plan change for that entire site. And
Yeah.
Oh, that was it, okay.
Yeah.
She's using is moving for sure.
Okay.
So that it's just would be.
I think you started off your sentence with, do you remember, and we don't.
I do, I remember.
don't
I
do that.
remember.
No. That cannot be a
I'll
sentence.
validate your statement.
It does need some heavier base, because it just looks like one of those vinyl posts, in a sense.
Oh, the
No, just like Pat said, just, more thicker shrubbery at the bottom.
Like,
Yeah, something a little taller, really.
Is that a technical term?
I just created it.
It's a
Welcome to my
it's a
dictionary.
landscaping technical term.
New words daily.
yes.
Where did
I really disagree with it.
I do like how it goes, the shape of the sign. I think that's kind of nice.
And I like the logo and all
Yeah.
that. It looks nice.
Yeah, I do.
I just heard Mr. Corkle, and that actually was a suggestion of staff, was to, what about changing those to black posts or something? The only thing would be, there are some white columns on the house. So,
Well, if there are, then you start trying to mimic those, but
yeah,
I think if it's a darker post, it just makes it look more substantial,
I agree.
in my opinion.
It would actually help draw attention to it, I believe, as well. This kind of just blends
Can't,
in.
yeah, it kind of
except
goes
for the
away.
dark.
And white in a year is gonna look unwhite.
Yeah.
It's not gonna look great. Especially,
Maybe we can make that suggestion or requirement.
Look at Pat picking up.
I know.
And are they lighting this sign?
Turning into a girl, aren't you?
I do not believe so.
Okay, very
They
good.
had talked about, doing some gooseneck overheads, but I think that went away again with how do we get power out there without wasting all that money, basically, since I believe she only has a 9-month lease with the building where it sits. So,
Really? This may be a 9-month sign, okay?
and so with shrubs then, if it's only so you're saying the sign could be there only 9 months, right?
I mean, it could be, but it could be
Can we
3
then,
to 5 years.
right, so that can we condition something then, if it stays past a 9-month period, then they plant shrubs, or, but 9 months if they plant shrubs, they're gonna look the same, and 9 months then they're gonna go away.
I would,
And I don't like, we see people waste money either.
yeah, I would say you could condition it. I mean, they're gonna be out there digging some holes, so there's potential for some fresh dirt, maybe just some annual plantings around it for now. I mean, probably wanna skip the winter ones, but in the spring, do something around it. If she still has a period of time. Maybe that'd be, best thing would be just to condition it for
After, if they're,
May or
Oh.
something. If you're still gonna be there, through the summer, then we need something.
So, okay, so that's fine, and then if it becomes like annuals, as you say, then they can do a simple little border of the ground that can be picked up, whatever, but at least be filled with some planting soil, then they can do annuals.
What if they just put some big pots out there?
Yeah.
No? Okay. All right, let's go to
Okay.
the next
Spent a lot of time on that, didn't we?
all right.
It's almost like I could do, I'm not a landscape architect, obviously, but
You have to-
almost
you have to
make
leave
like a little, like a square thing with nice little decorative
That's what I'm
stones
saying.
or something.
Yeah,
Make
that's what I'm
it
saying.
nice, not just
And then,
plant
when you
bushes.
get a soil level built up, then you can plant some annuals or whatever in it.
That, what he said.
What he said.
Well, what if the applicant works with staff on that issue? So we know we want some, well, and they're gonna have a better understanding of how long they're gonna be there for. So whether it's 9 months or 9 years.
Okay.
So, okay. All right, let's go on to the cooler, please. And so for this application, Mr. Owens, you missed the first discussion in September, so you'll be excused from this one. So it'll be,
unless we
That's
don't
hap-
get started like right on time, because we'll need to end it by 10 o'clock.
so yes, so Holly, you have to leave at 10.
Yes,
All right, so we gotta finish it, or we can't start it? You're saying we can't start it,
unless she doesn't.
No, we just need to finish it. Mr.
Yeah.
Owens,
Yeah, I'm just here for the gifts.
okay, to keep a quorum, is what you're saying.
if Holly leaves at 10 o'clock, then he can't technically restart since he didn't come in at the beginning of what was presented today.
It's too
Okay,
bad this one couldn't be first and then the signage.
well, I think we can get through signage pretty
The
quickly.
sign's gonna be pretty quick.
Okay.
All right, what's up? All right, let's go to the cooler.
Okay, so,
You know,
But she's, I don't even think she's here yet.
they're doing the same thing. I don't believe they've changed, any of what they want to do. They've just given us a little bit better, renderings of it.
Interesting.
of course, there was concern of how how that complements the existing facility, the existing building,
And
so.
I think they have made this look like what it does look like.
Okay, what?
So, yeah,
The draw,
Walls were all blank.
yeah,
oh, the drawing, you mean?
Yeah, they
Okay.
redid the-
Sorry,
What you
what?
talking about, Willis?
and like the colors were not,
Right, the colors were different. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Colors were different on the existing rock and building, and we weren't sure what, there was some drawings about the height of the roof. There was just some, yeah,
but they didn't give us anything for the front of the building. did
Photoshop
they?
trees.
We were wondering
they
about,
did not, but,
Well, it's funny, look how
hopefully they bring in.
that looks. All right, and then you look at,
Still looks like a lean-to.
it does.
It's this pitch of the roof, it still looks like an add-on to me.
Because it is.
I wish they, yeah.
Look at that one.
all right, so.
Didn't we already approve that?
Okay, so that's the cooler.
Problematic the way we have to do this.
Have we not approved it? Did
You
we
say
put anything?
Have to do what?
The way we have to show you the presentations, so.
So you're gonna be leading the presentation? Okay.
You'll do a fine job.
And and they're not all on one thing, so.
So for the cooler, we deferred both the landscaping and the exterior elevations and materials, so.
There is a landscape plan in here too, so. So there's some more elevations. Here is landscape.
Let's have to go through what they changed, right?
Yeah, and that's what I would suggest, yeah, just,
I mean, this is all new construction. The village.
and then they show the landscaping there was gonna be landscaping underneath the addition, but now I guess the addition goes all the way to the ground. But they haven't
Looks like
identified.
they framed out the lower portion, but it doesn't look like there's anything going on underneath there. Before they were just gonna put some stone under there or something.
Or they were gonna wrap the columns or something down there and leave it open.
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
still looks like they're,
All right,
Oh, yeah, huh. I guess we'll have to hear from them.
yeah, we're gonna have to talk to them.
still looks like it's open under there. I think wasn't that where their,
Like some condensing units or
yeah,
something,
HVAC and stuff was up underneath there?
which you can't, you don't do. You shouldn't do. Okay, well, we've got some questions for that applicant then.
Yep.
Okay, all right, and then,
And the next one is, Village Park, the new phase. Let me,
And-
I want to go to show you what.
So I worked for Village Park 2 years ago. There's no conflict there, is there?
are you working for them now? Okay,
Okay, so here is, this is the existing Village Park at Wills and Highway 9. This is the shopping center that currently exists there now. Their limit for this portion is here. So this is gonna remain as is for now. They've got some timeline conditions and some things to do up there. I think they've still got some active leases up there that they need to work through yet, but, so this is where it is back here. In some other drawings in here, you'll see a different shaped building, but it's not, we're not reviewing that building yet. And you can see that right. One of these is.
This is, 9 and Morris, not Wills, right?
oh, this is on Wills Road,
This is Wills Road,
on,
Highway 9 and Wills Road.
kind of, yeah,
But is a new addition though on Wills, on Highway 9 side?
On the Highway 9.
Yeah, where like the E-Club and all that little shopping center is.
what's behind the shopping center.
Oh, I thought the shopping center was going away totally.
I think eventually,
Shopping
Oh.
center is going away totally.
eventually, I
Okay.
think it
Not
is.
in this case, so.
Okay,
So here's that building that's in your packet that they show, the limits on this one go through here. So we're just looking at
And so what are they adding back there?
Okay, I was looking
That's all the independent living.
north, okay.
Okay,
So the cottage
Which-
is just like what's across the street.
well, when you say what's
Or
across,
Across the street.
Next door, like on the other side, on the
right,
far,
on the top left of that sheet right there, is that what they're trying to replicate?
Yes. So this is a common drive for them, so you'll be able to enter here or here. So this is just an addition of what's right
it's
here.
interesting that we have to look at this. This is so internal.
Does it?
All right, this is across from the Ferrari dealership,
I know, there it is.
Is that right next to that
Where
neighborhood?
Highway 9 is.
on the right side.
Would that be
On the
right
right.
next to that,
Yeah.
residential community?
That's where North Fulton Compounding Pharmacy was, and,
Will, it's like Will's Lane or something like that.
It would back up to some residential, but it's not.
But it's fronting 9. Okay.
Well, you won't see it. You, why,
Right now, you won't see it. Once the shopping center's gone and this new building gets done, then yes.
Okay.
yes.
But the shopping
And the,
center,
and
Hey,
the
this is
sports
Highway
club
9 right
is
here.
next
So
to
we're looking at site
the
plan today? essentially?
saddle shop or
Okay.
something.
It's not there anymore. It used to be.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the first to apologize. When I downloaded the package Tuesday morning, this wasn't in the package, so I have not seen this application.
So they're basically presenting site plan as an overview, or are they looking for,
no, we're looking for approval. Why is it not? I think this is the plan that has the elevations in it as well.
Got lots of civil details.
Yeah, there's a lot of details in here that,
You know, if I can approve that, man, well,
Sure you can. It's underground, except for the top.
so this shows a little bit more, Richard, these
The-
here exist,
Okay.
and they're dropping them down.
Just for those of you that don't know, that's a cut around road when Wills Road backs up onto Highway 9 there. People take that around to bypass the traffic light.
Do they really? I mean, I drive that all the time. That's never occurred to me.
now it's a matter,
Speed bumps or something, yep.
Well, I mean, there are some in the shopping center.
I'll have to look.
No,
for
but
that.
you don't get that far to the shopping center. You're right beside the shopping center. Anyway,
Oh, you come out. You are breaking the,
no.
he's in there checking it out in case he wants to move there. So he's-
He's not old enough yet.
Oh, gosh.
there he is.
I've got some neighbors that are looking to move there.
Hey, be careful what you ask for. Okay, so it looks like they've got different bungalow types in this package. Well, I see there's option 1, option,
I think it's some
Three.
trim stuff, basically, you know, like you kind of usually have, you can do a sunroom, you can't. So
one has stone and one has siding.
One is peanut butter.
I think here's another one.
Does it really?
I don't know. I'm still waiting for it to pop up there. I didn't know this was in here.
Here's this one.
9 o'clock.
Yeah. We started a few minutes. All right, so,
Palmer counting down.
is that what it looks like?
Here's sample
I
palette.
don't see that.
That's the backside of it.
Wait, what?
Is it weird that we're
Wait a
seeing
minute.
this when it's so internal? Nobody sees it from any main road.
Well, the reason we did it is because we're gonna see the front, we saw the whole thing on the other, so, and we had a council condition to it.
I mean, are they essentially mimicking the ones that are already there in color and,
I think that's a
Material?
good question for them.
Okay.
I think so, but I think that's a good question for them.
And Brett, the site plan we're looking at right now on our monitors, where is that?
I think this is next door.
Next door.
This is the existing.
It looks like, okay.
And I'm
And that's the loop road.
getting head nod confirmation that that is next door.
All right, so Wills Road is at the bottom of the,
Wills Road
is,
is here. yeah.
yes, okay. And
So
then,
the new project is here, top of it.
okay.
okay.
I didn't, staff didn't really see anything really concerning.
It is.
We had some fairly significant discussions about the landscape buffer between the shopping center and this. And so now that's all changing, so, so that portion was,
You said there's conditions?
there are some city council conditions.
Are those part of this?
They were, but I can't get, sorry.
There are, but he's not allowed to tell you.
Maybe the applicant will have them when they present.
Last time I started looking at conditions, you got Kathy.
And
Michael noted really quick.
maybe between the time we hear from them, that if the applicant has the conditions, we can make some copies. Can we make some copies of those so that everybody can see those? All right. Okay. Anything else on Village Park? No. All right. There be no further business. This workshop session is hereby adjourned. All right, go get your coffee cups filled. Let's get back here in less than 5 minutes and get the public hearing started. Yeah,
Probably give a couple extra days, because we actually have 3 full weeks, but,
Well, no, I mean,
okay.
she said they're already doing the sign drawings and all that stuff.
okay.
I was suggesting by moving shutters on the top, because it's kind of an option.
And I think, look here, that's for me, that style shutters, okay?
Oh, they might.
So,
She's like, I don't want shutters on my lines. So I sent her a picture. All right, so I will tell her.
this
Okay.
computer is part of the whole system, and so it locks up, and it's just,
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Just,
no, I know, it's really just crazy. And, James said one of the 2 big screens isn't on, that one's not on over there,
oh my goodness.
so it's not.
We're,
showing.
we're losing parts and pieces.
Yeah, quickly.
Okay. All right, get my coffee cup. All right, so 10 o'clock, you're up and out of here.
Everybody left me. Everybody left me.
Yeah,
Where are they? Are they in there now?
I've got a copy of them, only because I guess Alex gave me a copy. Okay. All right. I think we can,
yeah, the minutes didn't attach to the agenda for some reason, but they loaded to where you go to get it. If you look, there's agenda packet, and minutes. For some reason, they loaded there like that instead of in the packet. And we tried yesterday for probably an hour to get them to go into the packet.
okay. Well,
Wouldn't go. Done.
yeah.
That's why we're doing
So
this connected
frustrating.
city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait till Frank gets back.
So, Ms. Palmer, I hear a rumor. Truth?
Maybe. Well, did you hear from Ellie?
No.
Roger?
No.
Richard?
No.
No, we can go on. Really?
Don't talk about rumors and not tell people that are standing by.
I'm
It's about
sad.
you.
I'm
Yeah.
sad about the rumor.
Would you not think that's, because I was going to in 2 years anyway? Yeah.
No.
Frank offered too. Frank offered too, to do that,
What?
to, if Roger was
gifts? Mine too, the one, the
Yes,
envelope?
I
Okay,
put-
I noticed it was gone, so I was
Thank
like.
you. Yes, I made sure I put it in the bag.
Okay, there you go.
Did you hear what she said?
I said, she goes, I
What? Okay.
We've not had to do it in the past, but we're not above tying either of the chairs.
Get going here. All right. As soon as Alex is down, she gives me a thumbs up for us to do starting. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing. This is the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board, so happy Friday. It's December 10th, 2021. Glad to see everyone this morning. Glad you're here. A gentle reminder for those that have electronic devices, if you'll either turn them off or silence them, please, and that includes those out in the audience as well. If we will, first of our order of business, we'll stand, we'll face the flag, and have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for that this morning. Next item is roll call. So we have a quorum, but we're missing Mr. Brown is on vacation. Mr. Swing has family members in town. I think Tom McCain is on vacation, and Kim Matherly is sick this morning. So we hope people get healthy quickly. They have a good vacation, make it back safely, and we'll see everyone then after the first of the year. So, but thank you for being here this morning. All right. Any items from staff this morning, Brett or Alex?
Just wanted to say thank you all for everything you've done for us this year. It's been a crazy year. The city has been extremely busy. Lots of exciting things. I will tell you, don't take a vacation for 22 because there's some really big stuff coming in 22.
Really?
Yes. So, I envision at least the first half of the year being busy.
Okay.
We might get a break in January, but I'm going to guess that starting in February, we'll be seeing the mall project. We'll be seeing another project possibly at West Side and Windward. Several different new things. And as we infill, things just get tougher.
Yeah, not kidding.
They just get more, there's more packed in there. Council's learned over years, great conditions to put on. We've learned over years, so it's only going to get more fun.
Did we start the year virtually?
We did start the year last year
Yes.
virtually.
Our first two meetings were virtual last year, and then we converted to, yes.
We've gotten past that. Yeah, and hopefully we don't go back to that because that wasn't any fun at all.
That was
Not
a
fun.
tough road.
Yeah. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all. Hopefully it's a great new year for everyone. We left a little something for you at your chairs from the city. The new Connected Alpharetta is the new technology portion and economic development, which is right in with community development now. If you didn't know, economic development is in our department now.
Oh, really?
So Kathy's the director for both.
Wow.
Man, she's like,
Bizarre.
I know.
She's gonna be super busy.
All
right.
I was going to invite Lance up real quick, but he had another thing. Lance is our new economic development manager, and they'll be hiring an economic development communications person. So you'll be, since all your emails are with the city already, you'll be getting lots of, communication and things. You should see a huge presence change in our Facebook and Instagram and the website and stuff like that. So we are excited. So enjoy your families over the holidays and be safe.
Good.
Thank you, same to you.
Thank you, Brett. We appreciate that. Yeah.
And thank you, Richard, for our
Well,
little,
Just a little thank you for everybody.
Christmas.
Do we have to share anyway?
I didn't see a note that required the sign of sharing.
You may have to share it with the IRS, but other than that, you're, it's all good. It'll be yours. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for, well, thank you, fellow board members for your time this year. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. So, it's been a great ride. So thank you for all the time that you spent and the effort that you spent on the third Friday of every month here in council chambers. So, and that goes for Brett and staff, Alex as well, and Lauren before that as well. So, yeah, Brett keeps us on the right path. So
We try.
you try. Well, you do a good job. So
We've been
all right.
having some pretty serious technical difficulties here lately, but
Well,
we try.
Backpacks will take care of it.
very
Back-
good. Okay.
backpacks.
Any other items from board members this morning? All right. Well, I hope everybody's got their Christmas shopping done too, or well on their way, right? Getting closer. Okay. Next item on the agenda then is to review the meeting minutes of our November 19th, 2021 meeting. I know they didn't get posted till just a day or two ago, and I have not had a chance to look at the meeting minutes, so I don't know that any other board members have.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we defer the meeting minutes.
Second.
The motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Palmer to defer, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any other comments or questions about the motion to defer? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of deferring the City of Design Review Board meeting minutes of November 19th, 2021, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, no opposition, so motion passes 5-0. So, all right, so we get an extra month to take a look at those meeting minutes and come back in January and approve those. Okay. On to new business this morning. Our first applicant is Pamela Farms. You're here. Come on down or come on up, please. Well,
I'll put up, I think you should be able to see on that monitor in front of you, what,
Nothing yet.
and you're still being recorded, right, from that microphone?
still being
All right. So welcome this morning. If you will introduce yourself, make sure you speak into the microphone, and then give us an overview of what we have in our packet this morning, please.
Okay. Well, good morning, Board. My name is Jim Zavorsky. I'm the owner of Alpha Sign Group. I'm here today on behalf of Pamela Farms. We're looking at putting a sign at 54 Roswell Street. There we go. And it's a pleasure to be here this morning to present to you.
Good to see you this morning. Okay. So it looks like Brett is going to be driving the show for you. So it's just one monument sign at this point, we understand,
Right.
and kind of I'll call it in the front yard there. As we zoom in. I think there was a couple questions. There was some discussion during the workshop session this morning. I'll let Brett get to the application here on the monitors. Okay, so that's the location. So I guess there's a setback we have to watch out for, Brett, from Roswell Street.
be a site thing, so I'll figure that out, but this is the little house.
Okay, that's going to be the tasting room. All right. It looks like there's some construction work going on now inside that house.
Building, bar, AD restroom,
Okay,
just doing a few things inside there, yep.
very good. All right, then,
System.
ooh, okay. All right, and then we've got the next page is the location of the sign. Okay,
We only need a 5-foot setback in downtown, so what I'm gonna have to try to figure out is if this whole line continues out here and cuts this entire corner off, or what it does. So we'll, when he's ready to install, we'll site spot that.
okay. Very good. It looks like it's, all right, getting to the sign itself, looks like it's 6 feet, or the posts are 6 feet tall. Is there any kind of lighting that's going to happen on this sign?
No,
Jim?
non-illuminated.
Okay. All right. And a couple discussion items there was, are you willing to accept painting the support posts black in lieu of, I believe they're called out as white right now?
Agreed. We can
Okay.
paint them black.
All right.
What color is the trim color on the sign, the outside edge and the lettering?
Of the U-shaped sign,
Yes, sir.
black.
Okay.
And then it looks like it's gray on our monitors. What is that color then, the predominant color?
It's
of
supposed
the-
to be white.
Oh. So that's supposed to be
I don't
white.
know if the graphic designer used a shade to divide the image from the background, but it's going to be white.
Yeah.
So the lettering in the
Black
image
and
is
white.
black, the background is white, and you're okay with the post changing to black?
Yes.
Okay. And then there also, go ahead. Well, there's some discussion as well about putting some sort of planting at the bottom of it so it doesn't stand up so tall and lonely there. And I think staff was willing to work with y'all on maybe putting some annuals in there, and maybe it's just a raised bed that you put like a modular block unit around it that can be, doesn't have to be concreted in, doesn't have to be mortared in.
Right.
Fill it with soil and then plant that.
So you're thinking that modular rock as opposed to timbers?
Timbers is just, you can end up with a square-looking thing that just, it's not
That's
gonna look good.
fine.
If you mound it, you could also do that without needing anything structural.
You could mount it, I think, but I think at the end of the day, that mound of soil they use for seasonal color will just sort of erode away.
And you would need to have an edge at the base, so it could be done either way.
Well, I think the question here is how long is that sign going to be in place? That's the whole, we're trying to, sounds like we're trying to solve a temporary
I
problem.
think it's indeterminate at this point, but it is phrased to be temporary. Temporary being 1 to 2 years is what I understand. I think it has to do with what's going to happen with that property. So as soon as something happens with that property, the sign will go. And we can't determine when something's going to happen to that property.
Okay. All right.
Seems like it'd be fairly cost-effective to come up with something nice.
Just a modular block that you can get you can get, 8 or 12 inches deep, for instance, to get some soil in there or something.
Yeah, something with a little cap to it, or,
And you can make it into a round
right, just making it a round planter.
or oval, maybe.
So subject to staff approval, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's, okay. All right, any other questions for the applicant this morning? Are there, before we have a motion, are there any public comments about this applicant this morning? Anybody out in the public?
Earning your money today.
Well, I put the sign right in front of me, so I can't miss it. Sounds like there's no public comment on this application, so, okay. Somebody want to craft a motion?
Go for it.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to Pamela Farms, 54 Roswell Street, I make a motion that we approve the sign as presented with the following changes. We changed the post to black, and applicant will work with staff to create a annual bed underneath using modular block. Into motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any further comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, very good. Jim,
All right.
you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You'll be working with staff then. All right. Our next applicant this morning is the Cooler. You're here. Come on down, please. And I know that since Mr. Owens did not participate in September, you'll be excused from this one, so don't go far. Don't go far. All right, Richard, thank you very much. All right, good morning. If you are being recorded, so if you'll speak into the microphone this morning, introduce yourselves, and then give us an overview of what we have in our packets this morning, please.
Good morning. My name is John Bardis, and introduce my partners here, Mike Bardis, Ronnie Jackson, and Steve Jacobs. And I think we have some photos up here on the monitor.
It's on our screen, it's just not on those monitors yet.
It may be is it on the left hand there to your left?
It's not up there. There it is.
There we go.
Okay.
So
Fine.
as a starting point, I think our last time together, there was some discrepancy about our coloring and the blending of our drawing versus the actual coloring and structure and materials of our building on this addition on the outside, as well as a few comments on landscape. And so we think our objective was to make the adjustments to all the above, and then have you see this, and also compare it to the building as it is today. There were some questions about how this wrapped around. We've brought actual live photographs of what is there today, including landscaping. These are where we have our Share MD offices inside the cooler. So our hope today is to do an effective job of describing what this addition looks like, and that the materials match to your satisfaction.
Okay. John, very good, thank you. Do we want to take, all right, let's see what they have first. All right, Brett, what are you pulling up? Or what are you?
Well, I was trying to get that
Oh,
color, but I think what you're gonna have to do, if you got on your iPad there, just stand up closer here and show them the pictures. We'll have a few folks, so.
Next month, we're gonna ask everybody to bring their own audiovisual equipment.
you know, you used to have to.
I know.
Okay. If somebody can, maybe in the microphone, tell us what we're looking at on your iPad, please.
It's back up on the screen again.
Oh, there we go.
But whatever, we don't know, but,
We've got live photos as well as
Oh, okay.
rendering of
Okay.
drawings of what the exterior decking will look like and how that blends into the live
Maybe they can take
offices.
the iPad and put it on the overhead.
I tried to get the overhead to come up.
Oh, Lord.
goodness, we're batting.
Sure, this is like, what is it, Christmas Vacation? Are all the switches on?
Just needs to be plugged in.
Sparky.
So did you bring, John, did you bring any of your material samples with you, colors and things, or is it all on this iPad?
It's on the iPad.
Okay.
And it's the same color,
Yes, 100% the same.
What was the question?
it's the same color scheme, colors that they currently have in there.
Here, just scroll in.
Oh, okay. All right, so,
Scroll it one way or the other. There you go.
all right, so what we're looking at on that's the rendering. So it looks like the first picture that we're looking at here is a kind of a outdoor patio seating area?
Yes, that's
Is that,
live today. Those are our offices.
those are your offices? And where are these located, these offices?
These are perpendicular to the West Side Parkway. They face the parking lot directly.
Okay,
The same side as the main entry where the overhead is, right?
Yes, sir.
all right, very good. Looks like another picture of that, okay. So it looks like you've got some, I was gonna say it was like a roll-up door, but no, that's storefront right there, okay. All right, so the photos we're looking at, what are they representative of then? It's what's there now.
Yes,
But
what's
how
there
does
now.
this apply to your expansion?
So what you see on West Side Parkway in terms of the rendering, which is part of the studio that we're finishing, is a decking. And that decking will match both from a material point of view as well as a aesthetics point of view. The office front that you see there and the live photographs, and that decking, which is attached to the studio, the second floor of the studio, is what is seen when you drive up West Side Parkway toward our building. And then, of course, in addition to that, we've responded to the requested changes in the landscaping right along West Side Parkway there, that it blends. And we had talked a little bit about this before. We're on a bit of a steep hill there where we also have a Georgia Power line easement that runs through it. So there were a few points that were made to us the last time we were here about how to satisfactorily landscape that. And I hope we've accomplished that.
Okay.
So what we see on the screen, is that's painted metal, or what's that product?
Oh,
That addition, I know we went over it.
It's
last
metal
time.
and glass, yeah.
Okay. And it's painted the same color as the darker color in the stone currently?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the only thing you're changing is that addition, correct?
Yes.
What do you mean the darker color in the stone?
So see on this, on your screen, the addition, right
Right.
to the left of it, there's a dark stone and a light stone. It looks like they're matching that dark accent stone.
That's
color.
currently on the building?
That's currently on the building.
So it's not, it's a tan.
It's a
Yeah.
dark, yeah.
So it's a split face block?
Yeah,
That's
it's a-
right.
It's a tan split face block, so it's not really gray.
So they're not painting anything?
Well,
it's a
that's where
split
we
face.
probably need to see the color,
Yeah.
but if they're matching that exactly, because on the screen, it looks like the stone matches that color exactly. What that color is called, I don't know.
Okay. That's the intent, though, to match the split face block that's currently on the building.
Yeah.
So it's
I
more
think
of a
that's where we
tan.
ran into some issues last time, is trying to figure out where one met the
It
other.
will be identical.
Okay.
So in looking at what we're on the monitors right now, on our screens, not the iPad, but on the screen, I think at one point there was discussion in September that the first floor or the, underneath that balcony was opened because you had like condensing units and things that were under there.
That's correct. And we are covering that with, it's open today, but we intend to have decorative covering around it, and there's going to be landscaping around it that makes sure that it can't be seen. It's obviously been seen for a while, but during the construction process, it was previously covered by wood fencing. And so we'll continue, when we finish the project, we'll cover all that and put landscape around the bushes, so forth.
So, all right, so now I'm even more confused. So the first floor of your addition expansion, it appears to be enclosed with storefront or glass?
It's up on the screen now.
Yes, sir. So what's happening right now, technically right now, there are AC units. Those AC units will be removed.
Oh,
It will be enclosed just like the top part.
okay, so you are moving those condensing
Yes.
units to another location?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the bottom floor of this will be able to be occupied,
Yes, sir.
enclosed, it's air conditioned, it's heated, it's closed in?
Yes.
And used as a room or an outdoor patio or whatever,
Yes, sir.
okay? All right,
Where are the condensing units moving to?
We'll be putting them on top of the building where you can't see them, so where other units are located.
okay. All right, so this is all we have to go by, is just kind of these renderings at this point, all right? So looking at that elevation, again, kind of walk us through, describe what we've got on the first floor and the second floor. I know there was handrails, there was a balcony. Can you kind of, Ronnie,
Yes.
can you kind of walk us through, describe what we're looking at on the monitors, please?
So on the monitor, you see that will be another entrance for us that you can have access to the lower floor balcony. It's storefront glass, and we'll have landscaping around it, as you see. And on the top floor, it's the same thing, and we have the wire for the railing.
Do you have a picture or a sample of the railing?
It's basically the same railing that's on our existing building.
Is it railing and then glass at the bottom?
No glass.
So it's just a rail, so people won't actually go out there?
They can go out there, so it's basically, I think, like 5 feet.
Okay.
On
So
the
there's a
top level?
rail and it's open under
It's
it?
cabling.
Correct. Correct.
It's the
Cabling.
same cabling you see on the exterior by the offices facing the parking lot.
Facing the parking lot.
There's a wall.
I don't see any cabling on in these pictures.
Yeah, it wasn't brought up last time as an issue, so we didn't.
It was brought up because it was mentioned that the horizontal cabling could be a climbing for somebody that's on that deck. It was mentioned that you might want to make those vertical.
Correct, but we checked with the code, and no kids will be allowed up there, and it's not against anything for us to have the wiring straight
Okay.
across.
Quick, so the frame of that building is what color? The frame, and then you've got the glass, and what color is the glass trim, because again, I'm looking at the rendering up on the screen, and I see what looks to be a gray and then a lighter gray.
So it'll be the exact same color
As you see
As
on
you
the-
see.
The
But
same-
what are those colors? Because what we deal with samples and we deal with actual colors, not just photos. So, and Brett, maybe you can help me out with this. Are you okay with,
It's always mentioned on the letter that I send and when I talk to the folks to make sure you bring your actual color samples. And I know last month or 2 months ago when you guys were here, we talked a lot about that we need the actual samples of what you're going to use because we're not there looking at it. And so photographs, as you heard in the last case, on our screen, the white background on that sign looked gray, but it wasn't, it was white. So
The best we could do is, so when you see the front of the building and you see the window frames, and you see the fencing, and you see the door frames, those are exactly the colors we're using, and those, of course, were approved before. So we're matching them identically, right?
So have you hired an architect for this project?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Was he invited to be here this morning?
Well, he has been here several times in the past, but,
So- Well, we've only heard this application one time before, so.
well, no, we didn't invite him to this one just because we felt we had a fair handle on what it is. What you had asked us last time was to show you the front of the building, so to see if this matched, right, if this scheme matched what we had already had in place. And so the reason for the photographs was to be real clear about what it was, as opposed to providing a rendering of what we were building, so that you can see exactly what it will actually look like in the photographs.
And I don't know if any of your
Mullions
exterior
ones.
elevations that you currently have been to this board.
Millions will be.
I think the only thing you brought to this board was what you haven't built yet, which was all that new area. I don't think any of the improvements that you've got have been seen by the board because they didn't face West Side Parkway.
Well, I think the last time we were here.
Last time you were here, yes, you brought this building, but prior to that, you said everything had been approved by this board before, and that's not the case.
Well, I think what we received was a permit to build it.
A building permit, but you've not, this board didn't review those colors and elevations and things like that.
The ones that I think got approved in the past is what I was speaking of, the offices when we built them.
They did not come to this board.
Interesting, okay.
What we looked at was
The whole entertainment, yes, the whole entertainment side, that's the only thing this board's seen.
That had the volleyball venue and it had
Right.
some
But
other,
before-
a big screen TV or big screen.
Before that point, we did build these offices out that you see the photos of, and where the garden is and where the seating area is. And that was what we permitted. We were under the assumption that was acceptable. We're not trying to be assumptive.
Well, no, it was permitted and it's acceptable. However, this faces our corridor of influence, which is why this portion of your application required this review and
Yeah, we totally respect that. We're doing the best we can to just try to show what the colors are actually.
All right. Yeah. All right, I'm going to read the meeting minutes from our September meeting a couple months ago with some of the discussion. So, and this is where I'm a little confused. So bear with me. These are bullet points. Building a balcony to a music studio, which is close to completion. There are 4 steel columns on the ground level. Will have stone around them. Black cable style railing. Steel will be painted dark brown. Balcony will be accessed from inside of the music studio and will create an open air space. The materials, in parentheses, stone, cinder block, steel colors will match what was used on the office side of the building when that side of the building was renovated about 4 years ago. Mullions will be bronze and the handrail is aluminum. The balcony height is higher than the mezzanine, but the balcony will be identical in height to the building on west side. The gutters are bronze, not aluminum, because they are currently dark colors in that area. The roof is slightly sloped for draining, and the color is dark bronze. Covering the area in front of the building with smaller shrubs in the front and larger ones with plants and trees. May install grass or artificial turf in this area, and if real grass is planted, landscape team has vertical mowers. This may be part of the landscape. So that's kind of some of the discussion. So I see dark bronze, I see painted dark brown.
It looks like anodized storefront here.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get a better understanding of what this is going to look like compared to the existing building, to make sure it complements everything.
Our promise there is we're going to make it look exact. The reason why we brought the photos was to give you a sense for what the building, the existing building on the other side of the corner looks like, and what the materials look like, and what the colors are. So our
Okay.
intention is to match those identically.
Okay, because I don't see dark brown, I don't see bronze on what you've done on the office side.
That was
In these
part of the
photographs.
That you guys told us to make. So those were the original, and then after the meeting, you guys said, hey, make sure the colors are matched. So those are the
So the dark, so what we're looking here, it does look more dark brown. Is that going to be dark brown, or is it going to be the light tan that's currently in the stone?
So
What's the color gonna be?
all of the glass or storefront will be exactly like the storefront that's on our office side. The trimming around it, that will be basically all the posts.
Yes.
So all that will be, I think it's charcoal. It's like a charcoal.
Aluminum store.
Charcoal, so
Yeah,
it's dark.
so
it's
that
not
was gonna
matching
be-
the brick. Or the stone, the rock.
No, the stone is different.
Yeah, the stone,
And the stone is
It's gonna
existing.
be
The stone is existing.
I
aluminum.
was under the impression that it was gonna match that, so.
it matches the metal that we have on our windows and our storefront.
Yeah, that looks like
The other
a,
side. That's why we brought those photos.
Okay, so it's not gonna match the stone, it's going to match what metal is on the front of the building.
And
It's not gonna blend, or it's not gonna be exactly as the stone there.
And I think that's where we need, you take an exterior elevation, have some notes on it, and then you bring in samples so that we can see what we're looking, because staff also has to do this, look at it, even when the drawings are submitted for a permit, as well as when they go out to look at, give them a certificate of occupancy to make it sure it reflects what we've approved.
So
But-
our clear expectation,
But don't get me wrong, I want to get this right, but I'm confused because when we were here last, we were directed to come back with coloring and material for the west side view that was consistent with the rest of the building. And so that's what we're doing.
And we thank you for that. What we're trying to do is make sure it's clearly described in our package, because that's what the staff has to look at too. When you submit drawings, I say submit drawings for a building permit, maybe it's already been, has this gone through permitting, Brett, this building?
That's how we found that they were doing exterior construction.
Oh, because a permit was,
Yeah.
okay.
So what we're used to seeing is, so take that as for instance, we're used to seeing an elevation, and you have a call out to that elevation that says, this color is this, railing is this, trim is this. And we're used to, and then that relates back to a physical sample that's given us. So our task here is to try and go through, and then it's the city's issue with things not coming up on the screen, but our task is trying to relate that back to this, back to the existing conditions. It's difficult. It's very difficult to figure out our existing conditions and what you're proposing and what is on the photos there. So that's the hard part for us. That's what we're trying to figure out. I hear that you're going back to.
Well, we have every incentive to do what you want. I mean, we want to
Okay.
do it.
And-
This
Absolutely.
is our fourth time or so back. We want you to know, it did our best to follow the instruction, which was, we walked out of here the last time with a very clear message: match the front. And-
So the drawings that are on the screen now, that matches the front?
Yes, they're intended to.
And the intended to or do?
They do. They do.
And so the colors that we're seeing here are what's on the front?
100% the exact same.
So the metal is on the front of your building is this dark brown?
No, it's
Yes, they
gray.
It's all the exact same. If you were to look at it, it would look as if it was all one existing coherent.
So normally an architect then would include all of that in a thing, as Mr. Corkle has said, and pointed those out and said, this and this, which was what I related over to the last gentleman that talked to me about your application. And so when this came in changed, I assumed that it's, the new updated things, but it sounds like now it's not quite the new updated.
Well, it's just so you understand our intent, it is exactly what we've built in the front of the building, the same materials, the same colors.
Well, okay, but to the point, now we're leaving the HVACs underneath and screening them. Now we're moving them and screening them differently, which isn't in the package.
But it's not a part of,
It is part of this. If you're moving them, we need to know where and to make sure, just to say that they're going on the roof, now we're gonna require a sightline study. That's part of a requirement is when you put something on the roof is that you do a sightline study from the right of way to make sure that you can't see them.
okay, but if we move them to the other side of the building where the other existing units are,
Now you've got Davis Drive that's gonna get built over there, so we got the same thing.
Yeah, well,
But we already do
they're
have
already
air
there, is
conditioning
what I'm
units.
trying to
But not the ones you're moving aren't there.
They're actually replacing them. They're in the same place. They're replacing them. We're not adding more. We're replacing them.
So you're taking what's down below
Correct.
and you're,
Moving them to replace those units, because those units are about on their last legs.
and so they're going right back down below this thing.
No.
no.
They're taking what's existing on top of the building and replacing them with these units, and will that actually power the whole building?
Let me see if I
With
can,
just those base units?
Yeah.
I had some, but let me go.
But are they the same size?
So if you're,
Let's see if I can get back to it.
Exactly.
but they're,
So
September.
they're just removing these, right?
Yes.
and so you're not putting them on the roof.
No, we're going to remove these at the bottom. They will not be seen. We going to physically take these, move them to the other side of the building where two other exact same units are. These units are currently not working on the other side, so we're just gonna replace them.
Take another one.
Okay, because earlier on you said they're going on the roof.
They are, but they're replacing the old ones that are already there on the roof.
So there's two on the roof, there's two down here. They're throwing away the ones on the roof, two that are in here, and putting them.
Okay, but if we're putting something new on the roof, even if it's replaced,
We're not putting anything.
we're not putting
Yeah,
anything.
the roofs,
We misspoke earlier.
the
It's
roof,
not-
the
it's
roof,
not on
the roof ones that exist today were put on the roof when we
Yes.
did the offices. Those were approved. They cannot be seen from anywhere. To be
Well,
clear,
can't see it in there.
we're moving these to the other side of the building to replace those units that are there.
Yep.
what other side of the building? Davis Drive side?
Yes.
And so how are we screening those from Davis Drive
Well,
that's
sir, right now.
a required right of way?
We're in the final stages in giving Davis to Drive our easement, right?
Okay.
So they haven't asked us to do anything with the current ones.
Well, but if you're gonna move something over there, we know that that's coming, we're gonna ask you to, how that screening
Well,
is gonna
we're-
happen.
We're glad to do that, but that's new information. Here's the thing, we have two units that are there now, okay? So I get it.
Okay, we can get past that, we'll look at that in the future, but it just didn't show that here.
I understand, I'm with you, but at the same time, we do have those two units there now. They do power the building, but they're old, and that we have to replace them. We're gonna replace them with the units that we're moving, but we're not putting anything else, we're just replacing them.
So Brett, let me ask you a question. If I had a building that my units went out and I needed to replace them, would I have to go through the city to approve replacing my units, or could I just replace the units that were there?
Well, you would get a permit, and if the building guy said, listen, they're going from a 8-ton, just to use numbers, they're going from an 8-ton to a 20-ton unit, and
smaller.
here it is, then I look at it, and if we can see it, even though it's new and there was one there before, then I have to approve it. And
So-
on a corridor of influence like this, if it's gonna be seen, it's not gonna be screened.
So, I don't, could they work with you when they replace those units, and if it needs to come back into a sight line, you can do that, but for our,
Well, it sounds like they're going on the ground.
If they're the exact same spec, same exact tonnage, would we have to go through that permitting as well? Even if it's the exact same unit, same size? Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
my only
new
question with
information.
this on the screen is, I'm not, it doesn't appear
Yeah. But it's probably just needing of a wash, because we're actually not adding stone to the building. It's the same stone that's there.
Which, so my point is, that should be much more cream,
I-
which would make the bronze kind of stand out more. And I'm not saying.
That's a
it
fair
must,
point. That's a
but
fair
it's-
point.
I'm not sure that that's an accurate representation.
But there is no
I
bronze.
think that's fair. It's just a rendering, but I want to underscore the point. We are not either taking stone off the building, nor are we adding stone.
Correct.
This is the stone that's there.
But that may
Yes.
be to Richard's point is to have a rendering.
Yeah, I think what we typically see, renderings are great, but then materials are identified on the rendering or an exterior elevation, and we see samples of those actual materials.
Sir, and I'm happy to do that.
And that's what we,
I make this point again. This is actually, we're not adding a single stone to the building or taking it off. What do I do? Do I take, this is,
Stone at that point would just be for, here's the existing condition, here's what we're gonna match up to.
well, what should I do? Help me here, because do I take a piece of stone off the building and bring it?
no.
We're talking about a rendering which like an architect kind of plays with colors on. So if you look at the screen to the right, that stucco band on the top is much lighter than the brown stone on the left. I don't believe you have any brown stone on your building based on these photos.
Right.
That's not brown on your building.
Well,
It's brown on the
It's,
picture.
it's tan.
Correct.
It's a
Right,
very
it's
light
tan.
tan.
So what I'm saying is, like, looking at this image, it looks great. I love the dark stone, I love the bronze with it, it's a beautiful image, but it's not representative of what it's actually going to look like on the building.
Okay.
Right? And I'm not opposed to all the different colors, I'm just trying to bring some clarification, I believe, around what the difficulty is of approving it, is we don't have a paint sample. And that color that's presented, we've got pink brick on the bottom, brown on the side, a light stucco on the right, and then another light color on the left. And this looks good, but this isn't actually representative. Now, I get what you're saying, that the color is the same as the front, so personally, I'm not opposed to that, I'm just not sure everybody can
Right.
grasp.
Well, that's what, I
Because it's
think
the
that's
same
why they
colors.
brought the photos on the iPad.
That is
So you can
exactly
see it.
right. The reason why is,
Can't-
right, when, there may be a little bit of a reason why architect's not here, right? In the sense that this color is not, one example, this color of the stone is not actually
Sure.
reflective of our stone, even though we're not removing stone or adding stone. So we thought it would be better also to take actual photographs of what the stone looks like, which is the front of the building, as well as the metal that we framed those windows and doors and patio with there, with, at that point. That's going to be identical.
And that's, John, that's good. So what we need to see is documented on a piece of paper that that's what you're doing. You're doing the natural anodized aluminum storefront. This is the first time we're hearing about it. You're bringing pictures this morning because it wasn't part of the application that we got at the beginning of the year, so.
Explain it in the build, when he submits the building permit, which he already has, but didn't include some of his stuff, he would say, this particular metal right here, if you look at the screen.
Yeah.
This particular metal right here, there'll be a call out that says, it's this metal, this color.
Yes.
Then he's gonna say, this metal here is this metal, this color, that has to be on your building permits. That's what they need to see to approve it, so that when it goes to building permit, then staff can say, what they approved matches what was submitted. When you submit your building permit, you don't submit images and say photos, change that to photos and say, we're gonna build this.
So could we,
Present actual-
Okay, I hear you, because here's our challenge, right? The last time we went through this, got it. So we tried our best, and we tried to show realistically, in real, actual, what it is that we're doing by giving you the direct photos. So now, I guess we should bring material, but it would be the exact same material, and we are removing and adding no stone to the building at all. I just wanted to make that point.
John, you've got an architect on board. I'll be happy to talk to him, walk him through this so that he can provide all this information to us, so it's very clear to the board of what color is going where.
And again, it's not just for us, it has to be that on your building plans as well, so I'm assuming he has not done that on the building plans, and so they wouldn't pass building inspection or building permitting anyway.
Well, we've been permitted, right? This project, look, I'm not arguing with you, but you permitted us.
Permitted without Permit was submitted as interior work.
Well, sir, I'm not an expert, and I didn't approve the permit. You did. I'm not saying we tried to do anything wrong.
We're gonna have to defer.
Yeah, can we, at least give him some permission that we are okay with?
But that's not all the way 100% true. Everything that we're submitting was permitted. It's on our original plans. It was just not interior work. Our balcony was included in our original plans.
Well, didn't you just say today that the bottom you're moving air conditioning and now you're glassing it in? Was that permitted, or,
Well,
because that's new to us today.
we weren't aware that we needed a permit to move our air conditioners, to replace on the other side. I hear you the first time. We'll respond to that and do it right. But just
But you
tell-
do need a permit if you have, like, the original one was just open air and it had units underneath it, and now it's suddenly glassed in and heated and cooled. You absolutely need a permit for that. And we're hearing that for the first time today, that this is so it is new. So, and that part is not permitted, from what I understand.
Right, but let me also make this point. That was to be phase 2, right? To come back at a later time, because we just didn't want to go and have another thing sort of be part of this. So our intent from the get-go was to finish the top, consistent with what we've been talking about. We would camouflage the bottom in the right way, leaving those units there for now, with the longer-term intent of moving them to replace identical units on the other side of the building, but we weren't going to do that all at once. So to your point, we were intending to do what we had originally said we were, which is the top.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, because he said that that was what Brett said was not true, that everything was permanent, but that's not the case, because that part's not permanent, the lower
Right.
part.
And this is the first we're hearing of a phase thing, too.
Well, and we were going to come back at another time. We weren't going to touch this bottom part now, right? We were going to go to.
The issue with that, John, is if this board approves that bottom part, I think you gotta build it. Or build it per that. I'm not quite sure how that all.
Glad to do it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that all works, but.
We're glad to do it.
So, let me just I got a couple more questions, and I just want a bit of clarity to it. So what you intend to do needs to be what we look at, not future stuff, nothing like that. So it has to be what you intend to do. So there was talk about the base of those columns having some cladding around them, some stone cladding or something like that, and that went away because phase 2 came in. So I think that we're going to defer in this because of clarity on what you want to do tomorrow.
Okay.
Not future, phase 2, or anything. What you want to do right now. And to do that, these elevations need samples, color samples. I don't expect you to pull a piece of stone off the building. I get that.
How do I do that, though? Help me.
If the color is I don't know, give me a color.
Well, I mean, if he's not changing any of the stone, then we don't need to.
We don't need to see the stone, but if your color of the mullions is a silver, whatever the color is, a Sherwin-Williams color, bring in a sample of Sherwin-Williams, that color.
I can do that. The reason why we brought the photographs directly of the metal in today
Gotcha.
was for that reason.
Hold on. So those elevations have the call-outs of what your intended materials are. I don't expect you to pull a piece of stone off the building. That doesn't make sense, but say existing stone to remain. Okay, and a photo of that's fine, okay? Don't show anything that's gonna be phase 2, but, last time we talked about those columns and having some cladding on them, and don't show glass on that bottom half if you don't intend to do it from the day you're approved.
Okay.
So make sure all of those things are called out, samples for those call-outs. If it's existing, a photo of the existing right on face of the building is fine for the split space block. That'd be good. Now, real quick, going back to these drawings while I have the floor, what is the pitch of that roof? Because here's what I'm trying to figure out, and this is my dilemma last time, is how you make that section of the building not look like it was just put in there like a piece of Lego, and how it belongs to that building. So something I'm struggling with is that roof line that's pitched up off the existing roof line, the existing roof line being completely flat and horizontal, and then you've got this new section that's kind of got a pitch to it. How do we make that look like it belongs to the building, not make it look like a lean-to roof line that comes up? So what's the pitch on that roof?
I I'll have to get the degrees, but we did do a pitch as well that was approved, just to give you a sense, right? We have a pitch on our awning, which is a structured awning, on our offices.
I saw it, but it slants back to the building, I think.
Correct.
Right?
It's
So,
slants like this.
Again, we need to know what that is. We need to know the pitch of that roof, and what's the material on top of that roof?
Standing seam.
And how would I know that?
Okay, so we'll go back in.
And what's the color of that standing seam?
It's going to be the same as all of our other metal.
Right, so again, call it out, standing seam, color will be X, here's a sample of that color. So that this board can,
Your other metal is either natural aluminum, or it's painted gray, or something else. So
something I do like in these renderings, while I've still talked, is those horizontal lines of the glass of the extension line up with something that exists on the building. This second, the floor of the second floor lines up with a section of the block on the building. So it doesn't look like one line comes into this line, which comes into this line. So I like that. That's shown well. Again, if you can match things on that building, whether the vertical lines come into the vertical lines on the other building, horizontal lines on the building, that's helpful.
Yeah. Well,
So that, again, so it doesn't look like a piece of Lego stuck
yeah.
on the side of the
But-
building.
And it does fit, and it's been designed for that. And there's a thing to point out to you, and that is we've got two different level roof lines, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And how do you make those marry together without one looking like a lean-to on a horizontal line this way?
Right.
And that's a struggle I have. I don't know about everybody else on the board, but.
And if you ever get a chance to drive by it, I think you might like it, but my point is, I was up there again yesterday. It actually does blend in very nicely to the building, particularly on West Side Drive. It takes a graduated approach because of the slope from what is our mezzanine in the building, which is a lower ceiling, right, which is being built on, right, to the higher roof line, which it's being built next to, and they are seamed together so that it looks like, just as you had pointed out, a Lego block was fit right into that spot by design. So we did our very best to really attend to that because we felt the same way, because you can see it when you drive down West Side Parkway, and candidly, I'm not trying to brag about it, it looks pretty good. I mean, I think even today it looks really good.
So a thing that came up in staff discussions when we looked at this and tried to figure it out is, you see this little thing right here at the top of the finger?
Sir?
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Up on the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See that little
Under
point
that.
right there? I think that's kind of leads to where Pat's going. That roof doesn't appear that it meets with the building, because that makes it look like the wall is here and your roof line is coming, so you're gonna see air through there, you're gonna see sky through it. So it's, I think it just is a little off as far as the way it
You want us just
meets up to
should
the
we just tear
building.
this thing down? I mean, is there a chance to?
You need to convey to us, so that we can see it and understand it, what you're doing. And pictures are worth 1,000 words. That helps. That's the first time we saw it this morning. Bring in samples, identify materials on this rendering. Have your architect identify these materials so we understand it clearly. Staff understands it clearly. Everybody understands exactly what you're doing and where the colors are going. Now, I'm going to have to stop us here. We're going to lose a member of the board because she has to go, and if we lose her, we're done. So we've got to do a deferral at this point so that Holly can head out at this point. So we're going to have to defer both landscaping and exterior elevations and materials at this
Okay.
point.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to DRB 210043, I'd like to make a motion that we defer both exterior as well as landscape. End of motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Mr. Corkle. Any comments or questions about the motion on the floor? I know I didn't ask for public comment, but since it's a deferral.
Just a real quick thing is those roof lines and how those marry to the building are important to me, like the section that Brett talked about and all that.
Okay.
It's getting there. It is.
Sir?
Yes.
Maybe take these comments back to the architect and see if they can give a couple options. And also, many applicants will bring almost like an inspiration board, where we can look at the board and you see the color like the brick, the color that, some of the different colors that you're proposing all together, as well as documented on here.
And it's super easy to be able to say, yeah, those colors go together, that's what you have, that's what you're proposing. It's a very easy visual, I feel like, for the board. You don't have to, but sometimes that's kind of a simplified way to present it.
Okay.
All right.
We still got a
Oh,
motion.
yes. I've got an iPad up here. There you go. Okay. Any other comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion to defer landscape and exterior elevations and materials, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. So, all right. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it. And
It's getting there.
if you got your architect, have him call me, whatever. I'll be happy to help him out, walk him through this,
Merry Christmas.
John. So thank you. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate it. If you'll send Mr. Owens back in as you pass by him, if he's in the room, boardroom back there. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. Okay, our next applicant this morning is going to be Village Park, Milton Phase 3. Come on down if you can start getting set up. Ms. Palmer has left, but Mr. Owens is going to be returning momentarily, which will give us a quorum.
You can give them the hard copy.
Welcome back. Thank you.
And then, I'll get the email later here.
No, she left, so it's just us.
Good morning, welcome. If you'll speak into the microphone, introduce yourselves this morning, and then give us an overview of what we have on our packet, please.
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Brian Henderson. I'm the construction manager for Gallery Living, parent company to Village Park. I've brought with me Steve Markey, our director of design, and Francia Lozano, our project manager for construction. While Brett pulls up the presentation, I'll go through a little bit about our company, our model, and what we're trying to accomplish with the DRB today. So a bit about our model. We're a developer, we're an owner-operator, and we're also a technology company. So we're fully integrated into the senior living environment and senior living communities. Some of you may be familiar with our locations over on Morris Road, Village Park, Alpharetta, and the recently completed Village Park, Alpharetta expansion, as well as our existing property, Village Park, Milton, Phase 1, 555 Wills Road at the Highway 9 and Wills intersection, which is what we'll actually talk about in detail today. Additionally, we have a location down in Peachtree Corners. We did give you a little bit of information about that. Similar property and structure, cottages, assisted living, independent living, memory care components as well, and our recently completed Corso Atlanta project down in Buckhead. So, having said that, feel free, if you'd like to browse the information regarding all of our other communities.
Is it on your screen right in front of you?
Yes, sir. It is. So, we'll skip ahead to a little bit about our leadership team. I think most of you are familiar with Tim Gary, our CEO, Carrie Samuelson, our COO, Fergal Brady, our CFO, and of course, Jonathan Hawkins, our lawyer, and Rob Lewis, our CTO. And I've introduced our development team here today. Not present, unfortunately, is Stephanie Higgins, our Director of Design, or Interiors. So, what we're proposing today with the Design Review Board is the expansion of our existing property at Village Park, Milton. From Phase 1, we would like to extend into Phase 2, 17 cottages at the lower end of the existing Alpharetta Business Center. Our current proposal includes the demolition of 3 plates of the Alpharetta Business Center to allow the construction of 13 cottages today and the addition of 4 post-completion of the construction of the expanded main building.
And that's this area here.
That's correct. The hash line is our demolition limit.
So that's where the 13 cottages are going right now?
Yes, sir.
Or the
Yeah, right,
13.
let's see, if you go to the presentation.
Pages there.
Fortunately, I don't think they're numbered.
No pages?
I'm sorry. I omitted page numbers. Yeah, next one, please.
13, okay.
Right there. So what we're looking at is on the upper section of the schematic below, our existing location at 555 Wills Road. To the left, you'll see our existing cottage footprint comprised of cottages, bungalows, and a studio. We're proposing 17 identical cottages, 2-bedroom, single attached garage to mirror the design intention of Village Park Milton Phase 1. The intention today is to construct 13 of these cottages, omit 4, and then build our main building expansion all along Highway 9, which will go through DRB at a later date. We're leaving out those 4 just to give us some space for construction of the main building, for logistics, as well as some officing during the construction phase of the main building.
Frank, quick, I would say quick question. They give you a bad time for this.
Yeah.
Good morning, by the way. So the existing building that is to remain, I'm gonna call it screen right. What does that end look like once that demo is completed? You start on the cottages, which are 15 units at this time, leaving out the 4. I see the stubs for the next 4. So what does the end of that other section look like? What are we left with on the backside of that if it never gets built?
So, can I control the screen from here?
Don't you wish?
I sorry.
So there is a drawing.
One slide, please. Okay, so this is the existing Alpharetta Business Center, construction year 1985, about 57,000 square feet. So what you see in the picture to the right is the Alpharetta Business Center from Highway 9, and fortunately, to the right, the construction of Village Park Wills Phase 1. So what you see there on the Alpharetta Business Center, the bottom of the L, the plate to the right and the plate immediately behind it will remain until we get ready to demolish and start Milton Phase 2 main building.
So is that just gonna be a blank wall that's left?
You're talking about on the backside facing our cottages.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's facing Highway 9.
No, I'm talking about what's gonna remain
Right.
once that building's cut in half. Is
So-
it just gonna be a blank wall?
It'll be a blank brick wall inside the
So
business.
you're gonna put brick on it then,
Well, there is a demising brick wall inside the business.
all the way through it?
Right, so as you go down from plate to plate, we will have to construct and fill in, I think there's 2 doorways that we'll have to cover, but we will cover it to match.
You may need some exits back there.
So not to talk about the future,
Great.
but
Phase 2?
Phase 2 of this is once the leases in the front part run out, the property is all yours. So
Actually in development of documents for that.
for Phase 2 as well. So it's
Steve, if you'll
coming.
make sure you speak into the microphone or get a little closer so that.
We're currently working with our architects to develop construction documents on the main building. This is a preliminary start on the project. So in the interim, we will have an exposed part of the building that will be the brick wall that we're going to infill.
I think, wasn't there a time, I didn't see it, but I thought for some reason there was a timeline
In the conditions?
in the condition, but I don't see the timeline. Maybe it got struck in planning commission maybe or something. I thought there was a timeline between Phase 1 and Phase 2. No?
I don't have that with
Oh,
me
no,
today.
I didn't see anything about a timeline.
I didn't see it either,
Scrolled
but
through.
for some reason I thought in staff talkings that there was a timeline to get Phase 2 started. I may be thinking of another project too, but.
This is Phase 2, though, the
Well,
entire.
I'm
okay,
sorry,
so
let's-
3 then.
Yeah, let me clarify. I think what you're talking about is cottages being Phase 1, main building being Phase 2.
Phase 2, yeah.
Okay, so we have, as Steve was saying, our architect working through plans right now, so that's for the main building, Phase 2,
building,
we'll
yep.
call it. We should have documents available April, May for that, and we'll begin pursuing the design review process around March, April, May timetable, and obviously going through with all the other permits that are required.
And am I remembering the right project, that main building had some retail or something that was gonna be included
That's correct.
in that portion? Okay, I wanted to,
Fronting Highway 9.
yeah, literally, we've got, we talk about 10 projects in an hour's meeting downstairs, so sometimes they get messed up, but I thought that was the
My
case, and I
excuse.
think that's where, yeah, good excuse. I think that's where I was getting that there was a time but it's not in the conditions, so it's clearly not a thing, but y'all are moving forward with the next phase anyway, so.
And what I'm getting at with that whole thing is, because I've got drawings as if everything is being done right now. Those are the drawings I have, but again, if the
Well, you don't have
build stops tomorrow,
you don't have architecturals for the front.
No, I'm talking about landscape stuff.
You've got landscape stuff for the front, and I was gonna ask, and I assumed that at some point you would get to that, if the Highway 9 landscaping, since we know where the right-of-way and all that is that happening now, or is that part of the main building construction?
So right now, I'm not sure the last time you were out Highway 9, that area.
I was just there last week.
Oh, yeah, so it's had quite a great deal of impact.
It's a pain.
From, I think you guys are doing some infrastructure enhancements and improvements along Highway 9, so we can definitely look at adding some enhancements along Highway 9, but that's currently in our plan.
That would come with the next building.
That's
which
correct.
At that point, hopefully, that section of
That's correct.
the project is,
Once everybody figures out what DOT is gonna do.
Right.
And then you figure out what's left to,
Right.
Does DOT know what they're doing?
no.
well, if they do, they're not sharing it with anybody.
They'll build a big set of as-built after the contractor does whatever he does, and then they'll say, here's your as-built.
Okay.
All right,
So-
So I digress.
As we close out the phase 2 of the expansion, we'll be enhancing that whole area along Highway 9 because, as you recall from our zoning hearing last year, we lose that curb cut.
Yeah.
So we have to clean all of that up, and that is the intention.
So let me ask this, for phase 2 of this project, which is I'm gonna say the front half or the Highway 9 side of the buildings, you're waiting for leases to expire before you move forward with that,
Yes,
right?
we're trying to honor the existing leases that are in the Alpharetta Business Center today. There are a
Okay.
few tenants that I think they're.
And what's the longest duration lease that's in place right now? I mean, how long could it be before phase 2 starts happening, before you get the tenants out of there and phase 2 starts happening?
I understand.
Is it
what
3
I've been
months
told-
or 3 years or
No, sir, no. So what I've been told is we're looking at March
of 2022?
2022 for the building to be entirely empty, and at that point, ready for
So
demolition.
we're only 4 months, 3 months away from that essentially? Oh, okay,
Done, we done
That's right,
2 years after that.
okay. All right, I didn't know how long that duration was. Okay.
right.
All right,
Because we're trying to coordinate all of this to where, our construction teams aren't tripping over each other on site, and to be fair as well, the Phase 1 cottages have been a huge success, thanks a lot to the city. So we're trying to expand that product offering to the community as soon as we can.
I see, okay. Okay, so all right, well, why don't you walk us through the site plan then, if you can, whether that's your task or Steve or whoever wants to do, just to get us oriented, familiar,
Okay.
detention, so to speak, and things of that nature, so, okay.
Okay, so on the page in front of you, you'll see our intended 17 cottage footprint. We intend to connect the existing private drive, which is our curb cut from Highway 9, at the lower end of the 17 cottages. Again, the 4 closest to Milton Phase 2, that main building, will not be constructed at this time. We'll look to do that near the completion of the Milton Phase 2 building.
So that's the ones 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here?
No.
No, sir, it's 1, 2, 16, and 17. It's really hard to see.
These 2, these 4.
4, yes.
Okay.
Right, so those 4 will remain incomplete until the completion of the main Phase 2 building.
Okay,
Our intention is to vary the 3 cottage design that we have on existing Milton Phase 1, the variations being exterior finish, either stone on front, stone on side. They all receive the same standing seam zinc metal roof. They all receive the same rhinestone color siding. It's just a question of where on each of these 3 variations that finish is applied.
To step in, the cover
Yeah.
of the brochure shows our current, we're doing the exact same. Right. All these are our buildings, and all we're doing, we're just placing them to be aesthetically, a nice aesthetic mix, similar to what we're doing here. We're
so
using
you're
the exact
essentially
same.
replicating,
It's more of the same. We're not making any modifications to the units
okay.
as they are.
Okay. Any lessons learned from what you did in phase, the original to now?
The public loves them. That's
There's a
a
little
great
interior,
lesson.
yeah. Well, yes, we've learned that the single 2-bedroom with the garage is the unit that people like the most, which is why we're building 17 more of those and not mixing them with
Okay,
the duplex and a single cottage.
all right.
That seems to be clamoring for that.
I didn't know whether maybe colors may change or materials because of shortage of materials or something of that nature.
We're going to try to hold the exact same material and the
Okay.
same
Okay.
products. If we have an issue with that, obviously we'll have to come back, I assume, and get those approved.
Usually what we do in that case, Richard and I work pretty closely together. We've done quite a few projects here lately just because of that. So what I would ask if that does come up is just send me what's approved and what you want to use. And then Richard and I will discuss it, and if it's close enough, I mean, a lot of times it's just, okay, we got to get it from a different manufacturer, or it's got a different sheen, or something like that. We'll usually go with that, but if it's, hey, you know, we can't get this, and so because there's so much of it, we got to completely swap, then we'll probably come back here.
Right, because the discontinuity would be a problem for us as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we want to maintain that, and we have our pallets identified in this submission, just like our
Yeah.
last, and we can
So-
tackle samples.
On the site. So I'm going through the conditions, which I just saw this morning, and I'm sort of been reading in between and
So
Gonna pay
if
attention
you
to
want to
everything.
take your thing there, 3, 8, 10, and 14.
Yeah, that's what.
11.
We can.
Don't forget 11.
11 though,
DRB.
yes, but that's not current, because that's the landscape strip and yada, yada, yada for the Highway 9 side.
So is that going to be later when they do the Highway 9?
That'll be, yeah, when they do the Highway 9.
Okay, so we're going to look at, and a quick question as relates back to site plan. Condition number 6 mentions an aerial bridge.
Yes, okay, so about a third of the way back, we have a connection.
Can you go back to that
North.
page that you were just on with the 17 cottages in Milton?
And if it's back in the site.
It's,
Right there.
so the trucks can get under. We're connecting through at our main level.
Is it this right here?
It is.
Right. So it's basically almost halfway back.
So that's not part of this phase.
No,
No,
it's
that's
not.
part of the main building connection.
Later.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question.
Got foundation plantings, street trees, generators and dumpsters. And then building elevations, you know, obviously, but.
Okay.
I have a question regarding condition number 3, 40% of brick or stone. Is that consistent with the current cottages that you have now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Where's that?
And you have some calculations to submit to staff for that, to validate that number? Okay.
Where's that? Is that a condition?
Yeah, number 3,
There's percentages?
40%.
That might have been on, for the overall project, the main building.
Is that binder? Did binder put that in?
Oh, say that again, Brett?
We can do it,
Be in totality.
so we'd have to kind of get the whole project.
Per building or elevation or whatever, it's totality.
Thank you, Brett, for that, for confirming that, because as I was looking at your models, they appear to be overall 40%, but not each one, and I don't think they need to be that for each one, because you've got a great mix there. You don't have to, it's almost half the whole building.
So that includes phase 2 then? The 40% encompasses phase 1 and phase 2? Okay. Quick question on site plan. I'm thinking.
No, we're still on
going
site
from
plan,
back. The stormwater detention, where is that happening, or do you have an?
So we have a plan, it's in the LDP that's currently under development right now. It is to the rear of the cottages, kind of back down in this general area.
Let me go to this plan. It's here, correct?
Yes, sir. It's back at the lower end of the existing business center.
Okay, it does fall, everything falls that way, so, okay. And so that's above ground, it's not underground detention then?
That's right.
Okay,
Well, I mean, it's not. It's back down below that. It's exposed. Right.
it's open,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, it's exposed.
What's behind there? Who's behind there, a neighborhood? Subdivision?
Older neighborhood, Will's Lane, is that correct, Mr. Owens?
That's correct. It's a straight-in street that's dead end.
Okay. Just want to make sure what they're looking at is not,
Let me, I'll give you a
unsightly.
I don't see it on the mowing. I see it under the condition of 15. It's got the options, which is pretty typical.
Yeah. Times LDP.
So here's an aerial, so here's their existing.
Okay.
Here's the existing, and then this is the new, and then this is Will's Lane back here. I think there's 7 houses, if I remember correctly, on this side, really large lots.
Okay.
On this side,
So does the existing complex have stormwater detention now?
I beg your pardon. I'm just looking here at the proposed LDP, which you had on the screen just a moment ago. If you go to page 3, at the rear, it actually is going to be an underground piece.
So this is similar to how we handled phase 1. We worked with the community and the city about that retention or detention pond that's open. I believe we are, I don't want to speak out of term, but we're not using that. I believe we had slight cleaning up of the condition, but we weren't, it's in the documentation, but we do have underground.
So,
Right in the roadway.
Yes.
oh, because there's a sanitary sewer that runs through there too.
See those rectangles in the road?
Right.
That's your system. Because the storm dumps to it.
And we have the same on our phase 1.
When I first saw that, I thought I was looking at truck turning radius or something. I'm like, oh no, the storm connects to it, so they're doing it in the road. You don't have the room for a pond on the backside.
No, there's an existing pond back there. It's just that it's not.
It's seen its better days.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so.
The decision was, made by the city.
Plus the fact that the regulations have changed since they first did that.
Yeah, there's an outfall to it, right?
Oh, yeah, I see that now. Okay. Okay, so underground stormwater detention, all right. Okay, and then, is there any kind of dumpsters, recycling bins, anything of that nature in the first phase of this development?
No.
Right.
Okay.
We'll continue to use the existing facilities on phase 1.
Okay. So the residents just roll their containers out to the street and it gets picked up by?
Right.
Okay. Waste management or the folks. All right, very good. Yeah, I guess. All right, any other site questions? I guess unless they purchase one as an individual homeowner. Let's see. Yeah, 14, generators and dumpsters, if located outside of buildings, shall be contained within an enclosure with materials that match buildings as approved by DRB. So.
Right.
We're not pursuing additional trash collection or generators at this time.
Okay. So, but people will have, I guess, roll-offs, right, for recycling and for garbage.
So they keep, what's the plan? Keep the dumpster in the garage?
So the existing.
Not dumpster, trash container.
Right, so today, residents keep their roll-offs either in their garage and they bring it out onto the driveway the day of trash collection, gets picked up, goes back in.
Question, so you have existing facilities, so if someone does not keep their trash container in the garage, they keep it somewhere else, does that get looked at by some review?
Yes, so the maintenance.
I don't want to use the word HOA because it's like
Right.
HOA.
So the maintenance team is there to assist with that kind of issue, to ensure that residents are.
And our CEO and our COO are constant monitors along with.
Maybe he lives there.
He drives through. We get texts.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fix this, Brian.
Okay. All right, any other site questions at this point? Okay. All right.
Let me just make a quick point about something I see on drawing E-002. At the bottom of that hill, there's a sampling point, so the water will be sampled so that it is monitored as it flows down into the tributary of Folk Killer Creek. That's all that needed to be said about that.
So it needs to be cleaned, or it will be cleaned?
Yeah, it will be
Or be
cleaned.
cleaner or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what do we want to look at next then? You want to look at, okay,
Let's do number 3.
number 3. Number 3, all right, building shall be,
This is a test of the building fire alarm system. Please disregard the alarms. This is only a test.
all right, let's hold off a minute on our discussion until we finish our testing. Oh, it's not immediate.
It's nice to know we don't have to walk out for a fire drill.
Yeah, you do it by zones, and so.
Okay, all right. We'll continue on unless we get the horns in here, and then we'll take a pause. Okay, let's talk about the cottages then, the architectural exterior elevations.
So real quick, the condition is substantially similar. And I never dwell on percentages because I don't know how to quantify a percentage, whether it's site or building or whatever. So real quick, it says substantially similar to the submitted renderings from 2/9/2020. Are we looking at the renderings from 2/9/2020?
Yes, these are the exact same renderings as were submitted from Milton Phase 1.
Thank you.
So that sounds substantially similar.
Could be.
Well, the drawings in our package are dated December 5th, 2017. So they're dated 4 years ago. So I guess those are the
Be using the
drawings.
same documentation to construct the new cottages.
Okay. Just have to change the date and resubmit it for permits, right? Okay. So it looks like it's,
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building. A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevators. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire has been reported in the building.
Well, we certainly know the system works, or at least in this room it does. All right.
Sense of change, I'm like, well, that works in here, I'm building electronic thing, but that works.
That part of the RIT works very well, so, all right, let's hold off, there we go. All right, very good. All right, let's continue on with exterior elevations and materials. I think there was, we were talking about substantially similar. Okay. And it looks like, so some of the buildings are, oh, great, thank you. Some of them have some sort of siding, lap siding material.
Lap siding, board and batten.
Okay, and then stone. Those are the three kind of, I guess, options, right? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, brick. There is some brick.
Okay.
Painted brick.
What kind of brick?
Painted.
Okay. You didn't by chance bring any material samples with you this morning, did you?
No.
Sorry, sir, no.
Okay,
We,
I think,
Maybe, I don't know.
It's sort of similar to the last one, however, these folks have a council condition to match it. So.
yeah.
we have
A
our,
little more teeth for us that, you know,
Right.
Okay,
when I go out there and say, well, that brick's not anywhere over there,
Right.
where did it come from, kind of thing.
okay.
And that's the idea, matching the existing across the road, right?
when we have our color palette and our Sherwin-Williams colors and identified, we didn't bring the chips.
Physical, yeah.
You're
Okay.
right. Or the sample board of the stone.
And they're black and white.
Black, white, gray. Believe it or not, those are color images, so.
Okay.
And to a lesser extent as well, Brett, this is, the other one's front and center, Westside Parkway, this is back and behind.
Yeah, this is
Now, if this was
touch-
what was presented for the front side on Highway 9, it'd be a little different story on our end of things, I think.
Yep.
Or if they were creating a new design, same colors, but new design, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that when we see these guys again for the front building, elevations will look different and they'll be annotated and all that stuff.
For the main building. Yes, we'll bring all the dog and pony, everything.
Okay, so we will be seeing you again then, shortly.
Looking forward to it.
All right, very good. Okay, any other exterior elevations and/or material color questions?
Brett, who's gonna quantify 40%?
We usually make them quantify that to us, and then we just do a rough, like, kind of look, but we get them to scale it out.
We do it on documents,
Yeah.
because we have internal courtyards, external faces.
Silly
And that's what Brian volunteered to do a little
I
bit ago.
assume it's so you can,
He
I
did.
assume it's so that when you get people that don't follow it, you can circle back and you have the grounds to
Yes.
prove it,
Yes.
right?
I suppose.
Okay, with that, then let's
Better get Kathy and Michael down here quick.
let's move, yeah.
That's talking conditions.
All right, let's move to landscaping. Let's look at the landscape plan.
So the drawing I received, Brett, hard copy, entails the whole site. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yes.
So we're not looking at the whole site,
Yeah, I had your.
right?
I had your staff counterpart in my office yesterday giving me, questions about that.
My staff counterpart?
No, our staff counterpart with you, Mr. Shopstack.
Okay.
Why do I, like,
You need to lock your door.
well, actually, it was more like, do I have to look at how it's going right now, or can I just look at the back part?
So, second phase, planned right, we're not looking at right now, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so can you walk us through briefly, because there's a council condition, number 8, foundation plantings around the buildings. Number 10, street trees, proper size and location. Landscape strip, we're not really paying attention to. So those are the 2 conditions. And before we begin, there's a streetscape on the other side of this, right?
That's correct.
That exists, correct? So my question is this, does that streetscape, the street trees, that sort of thing, I always like to see a consistent corridor. Is it consistent with that corridor? In other words, if there's a maple on one side, is there a maple on that you guys are proposing on this side? Or is one entirely different than what is on the other side?
I'm assuming we're going to want continuity. It should have continuity.
But is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
It's a yes.
So on the, what is proposed?
Looks like there's two different tree.
Yeah, it seems unusual to be alternating a tree type there. And the
What's the other one?
So circle with 3 dots and double circle with singular. I can't really see it.
The elm is the bowling ball.
The Jefferson, yes.
Well, I think the drawing that you have here is incomplete at this time regarding the landscaping itself. Ironwood had not physically gone to site by this time to see that it needs to mirror existing conditions.
And I agree, Richard. You know, it seems odd with the alternating
Right.
Spartan soldiers.
I don't see where there's a 3 dot.
Right here.
It's at the bottom.
Yes, but what is that?
It's at the bottom of the plant list. It's in the
Oh,
elm.
I hadn't got,
Which is printed out.
all right, hadn't gotten over to that part of the schedule then. There it is.
Sort of a vase-shaped elm. And I think the other one is a October glory maple.
So, Mr. Corporal, would it be fair, since I assume you guys, it sounds like you'll be back in February, March
That's correct.
area for the front building, to lock this landscape down all together for both, knowing that comment about what's existing over there and bringing that theme over?
Yeah.
You're gonna wanna do the same thing, I assume, on Highway 9?
Yes.
Highway 9, although what's left after it's all been obliterated, you guys might just be the first seed to go in and start establishing the new street tree program out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like you probably will.
On Highway 9?
Yeah.
Definitely will, because it's gone.
You may not even have this room. I don't know what you guys will have at the end of the day, once they're done doing their thing.
So, my question would be, do you think it would be fair just to defer this for now? We got some comments.
I think so. I mean, it's not LDP dependent, right?
Well, and I would like to suggest this,
Maybe that's the
I would like to suggest this too. Remember, this is the first time I've seen this morning, and this may be the first time some of the other board members here have seen it. So just, I think,
It is somewhat LDP. Yeah, so maybe we do concept and final to combine both.
That site plan was LDP dependent, but landscape is too.
They're all together.
It can be conceptual with specifics to be determined at next DRB based on comments. Will that work? Will that get them pushing dirt?
I think so. I think they know what we want. I think want the same thing, so I think we just need to get it on paper together. I can relay that over to the LDP team, that, you know, that's where we're at as a board. So, and then David can say, well, wait, there's Princeton elms here, and there's no Princeton elms on the other side, so he may have a comment that that's gotta get fixed.
David Shostak.
May, I have a may.
how close are you to submitting for an LDP?
I think we're pending the DRB decision.
I thought that's what I said earlier, yeah.
Yeah, so post, DRB decision, we'll start working again with the civil and landscape folks.
So the one item that we're here to, that you're here to receive blessing on is the site plan. Is that correct?
Well, and they need some landscaping too, apparently.
Well, yeah, but that would be coming later. So today is site plan is of the essence. Okay.
I think,
The condition number 8, foundation planting shall be required around all the buildings. Check.
Yeah.
And then condition number 10, street trees of proper size and location. Check. But as my father used to say, the devil's in the details, and so we can check off the conditions.
I think we could check off the conditions. I think we approving concept with details follow, and maybe even as soon as you guys get a little bit of that detail, maybe get it over to us, I'll get it to Mr. Owens and Mr. Corporal and David Shostak, obviously will see it. I think what would help these guys, if you get Ironwood to show the streetscape from both projects.
Absolutely.
On one set, so that they can say, okay, I see the flow now all the way through the project.
From phase one, you mean like our existing building?
Yes.
Through to,
See the continuity.
now, the only hangup I would see is, we might be able not to get, we might have to hold on the main building envelope and the Highway 9 and just cottages and around.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Right, because it's not our intention to reinvent the wheel. This wheel was hard enough to invent in the first place, so we just want to cut and paste, keep going. It's successful, there are no breaks in it, so we're right on there with you.
Yeah, so if you show kind of that L
Right.
of existing and then the new little spot in the back, all on one plan sheet, these guys can look at that condition about the streetscape and make sure that's all good, and maybe we get that approved,
Phase two is gonna be dependent on what GOT leaves.
what happens out there.
And it probably won't be this. Maybe it will. But, is that fine?
Yeah, I think so.
Just to reiterate, the thing that Mr. Corkle and I are both seeing that is of our interest on your cottage area plan is just it's unusual to see street trees arranged in that manner. So are they reflecting something that's already in place? Because you have alternating trees.
Understood.
It could certainly work to have a group of one tree on an end and another on an end and maybe a majority in the middle or something of that sort, but that would be what I would want to see.
Can I ask a quick question? I love saying that, don't I?
You do.
So you've got 17 units going in, and the 1, 2, 16, and 17 are not yet. Is your density based on individual units? So in other words, do you have to have a certain density per unit?
Oh,
My guess is
we
yes.
had 91, I believe it's 91 units approved, living units,
No.
it's written.
So individual lots, so you've
Yeah,
got
it's-
17 lots going in. My guess is your tree density
Oh.
is based on individual lots because they are individual units. So that might be a little bit why you see a little different
I don't know
species.
that the density was, Pat, but I think each unit required a tree. But I don't know that the density.
I'm pretty sure it's density, whether it's 30% or.
Per unit?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought that they did the density on
If it was the building itself, site density, the main building, that's site density. But if you've got individual separate units going in, I think it's based on individual square footage of that lot.
Could be,
I'm pretty sure.
but they're not individual lots, which is why I was thinking, they're individual things, but they're not parcel individual lots.
Into rentals.
Okay, so that could be the kicker in there. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, you might want to find that out, because that might be the reason why there's different trees along that streetscape.
That's a good point.
Okay.
All right, before we have any motions or anything, are there any public comments at this time? No public comments. All right, very good. Just checking to be sure. And a final question for you. Seeing how this project is located in the city of Alpharetta, why is it called Village Park Milton?
Good question. Mr. Gary answered that, I believe, the last time he was asked the same. We had confusion between our Alpharetta projects. We have a Village Park Alpharetta, and is it 7 miles?
It is.
Or 7 minutes?
7 minutes away, 12300 Morris Road.
And the cotton.
Okay. Oh.
Right across the interstate from
Yeah.
Avalon.
Okay, so that's called Alpharetta.
Yes, and then we have, so we were getting confusion from the public about which project, and so just name that.
You may get more confusion.
We hope they would call it Will's.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. That's just.
Will's Park and all that there.
Okay, very good. So we've got site plan, we've got kind of a concept type landscape approval, and then exterior elevations and materials. So somebody want to start crafting some motions?
Crafting the landscape
Okay. Anybody else have a?
So, I can elevation materials. Because we are approving.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion in regards to DRB 210059 for Village Park Milton Phase 2, that we approve the elevation and materials as presented today. End of motion.
I second. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay. Have a motion by Ms. Rocco. I heard Mr. Corkle with the second, so I'll give credit to Pat Corkle for the second on the motion. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. All right, one down.
Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 210059 for Village Park Milton Phase 2, regarding the site plan. This motion requests approval of the site plan as it has been discussed this morning. Because, now here I put in parentheses, there are no issues about the site plan that I'm aware that we needed to request anything specific about. Am I correct there?
Yes. Okay, motion by Mr. Owens, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any comments or questions about the motion to approve the site plan? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. All right. One more to go.
We'll take a stab. Regarding DRB 210059 Village Park Milton Phase 2, that we approve the landscape as submitted with a condition with the condition of condition 10, which regarding street tree location and size shall be conceptually approved with final design based on our comments today.
I second.
Not done. This excludes Phase 2 due to the nature of GDOT construction and their final site conditions. End of motion.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Mr. Corkle. A second, a double second by Mr. Owens. All right, any comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. Very good. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you again shortly. Very good. All right. There being no further business and with no objections from board members, this meeting is hereby adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh, you got, oh, yeah.
You guys folks into it.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I hope everyone